So they estimate the smaller T-Rexes were quite agile, fast-moving hunters. And in fact, some of these, they look so different, they're actually qualified as different species. There's some of them can call things like Nano-Tyrannus turned out to actually be the same species, and they've now been redesignated as Tyrannosaurus rex. And I'll quickly cut myself off there just to say, this is the puzzle. Now this puzzle is one of the fairly standard. You've got small, medium, large, and you've got to move the large on top. The first time I did this, I thought, well, that looks like the size of a medium, so we've got to move the medium up top, which sadly is wrong, but there we are. These are all also grappleable for some reason. I just need to make it easier for you. I can't remember what the proper way of doing it is, but I always just tend to whack things on. Oh, what am I going to do? Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. One of those puzzles, if you think about it for about 2 seconds, makes a lot more sense, but I obviously never think too much about these things. It's interesting how far some people, and me especially, will go to avoid mental work. This is really not a difficult puzzle, and there's a really quite efficient way of solving it. But in general, whenever it comes to it, I always tend to do it rather inefficiently because I'm not really thinking about it, and I never bother to remember the actual solution. Which is, in some ways, you might argue, very clever. You come with me. I was talking about T-Rexes. What am I doing? I've got no idea. What am I doing? I'm really not thinking about this at all. What was I saying about T-Rexes? I want to finish my story about T-Rexes. This puzzle's got in the way. Oh yes, double check. I have all the rewards. Excellent. Only 20 minutes, so that's not too bad. I've got time enough to dick around and talk about T-Rexes. What am I doing? Yes, that's what I have to do first. I was correct. This is what comes with being drowsy. Interesting, some days, if I don't move around too much in the morning, because I just wake up and it's a Saturday and I'm not doing very much today, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll just play a bit of time first, get on with my Let's Play. And even though it's like 5 in the afternoon here, I'm really not very awake. And I'm actually quite want to go back to bed, which is a very strange thing. Why am I putting that there? Oh yes, because I'm retarded. Okay, good. Excellent. What was I saying about T-Rexes? Yes, with regards to T-Rex, so they did analysis on this, and as I was saying, they estimate that the T-Rex itself couldn't run. It could probably lurch forwards fairly fast, but it couldn't run. I mean, they imagine it tops out at about 20, 30 miles, 20, 25 miles an hour, 20, 25 miles an hour, perhaps even slower, which is, when you think about it, really not very fast. Especially in comparison to yours truly, Homo sapiens, who can easily do about 20 bipedally. So, anyway, so these young tyrannosaurs could run. And they put on, the reason why I think they were warm-blooded is because they could put on, don't do that, no, what did I just do? No. It's because they put on about 2.2 kilograms of flesh. 2.2 kilograms of flesh a day during their teens, which is an astonishing quantity of growth. And as far as we know, nothing cold-blooded can sustain that level of growth. So this means a number of things. It means first, they must have been quite efficient hunters when they were younger. And second, that they were almost certainly warm-blooded. The doubly interesting thing, though,
here has a symbolic function. If only the outside world would be seen.
Oh. The doubly confusing thing is, of course, that a lot of people assert that it must have been a scavenger because of this lack of speed. But it had a massive olfactory centre and stereoscopic vision, both of which are normally signs of a predator. And we found skulls of Triceratops that have huge, great big scars down them that are clearly from T-Rex teeth. They can match the implement.
Give me a moment, please.
No, Lara! No! Oh wait, just broke it. Silly Lara.
Well, that's all it does. It's been a big waste of time.
Now I suppose it's time to work out how to leave this monastery.
How about swinging Excalibur once? Just for fun. It's a priceless artifact, not a toy. I'm just saying.
Okay, so Excalibur has a number of different attacks. It's got a straightforward thing like that. If you just press left click, she just goes like that, two different ways. If you press backwards and jump, she does that. If you press sideways, she does that. That's the sideways, where she does a kind of spin and she dodges while attacking, which is useful. If you press backwards, she does kind of a little hop, and you press forwards, she does that. All in all, pretty handy item. Probably you didn't get it for very long, and it's really just for tooling off the bad guys you meet in the final level. And here is where the game can very frequently break, and it's so annoying. So I'm going to save just here because I've had bad experiences with this particular part of the level.
And now we know how young Arthur became king.
Run, Lara!
Really, young girl? Really? You do disappoint me, Lara.
And now we know how young Arthur became king.
Run, Lara!
I went a little bit topple forwards and I forgot to.
Any more sightseeing, Lara? Or are you finished?
We're going back to Bolivia. Then we'll see.
Actually, just talking about T-Rexes, the skull of T-Rex actually had bone sutures in it to protect it against the force of chewing through bone. They did a stress analysis of the skull, trying to work out which areas would be stressed using computer modelling. And they noticed that it had these massive bony bumps in order to protect the skull from actually cracking under the force of the muscles attached onto it, which I think is fantastic. Anyway. And most bizarrely of all, a precursor of the Tyrannosaurus found in China had feathers, as in they actually found a skeleton of it with an imprint in its skin, and part of the skin was feathered. So it's extremely likely that Tyrannosaurus was in fact a feathered, warm-blooded dinosaur. How weird is that? They just discovered so many dinosaurs recently that were either probably warm-blooded or feathered. It just boggles the mind. Looking through this book that I bought from the Natural History Museum, so many of the dinosaur droids have these ridiculous feathered ruffs. Anyway, not that I've been talking very much about the actual level. Nepal is complete. A level that I think is short in some ways, slightly more advanced, the others requiring more timing, but actually in the end is in many ways more trivial. Quite enjoyable, fantastic music, also very much. I love the theme at the beginning. And so soon we'll be doing Bolivia, and I'm going to move on to Tomb Raider Underworld probably sometime next week. So I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I hope that the sound